Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily, part of the Fan Arch Podcast Network, and big shout out to Kalshi for sponsoring today's episode. On Kalshi, you can trade every single game. Use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get yourself going. I'm your host, Dave Gasper. Lots to get to here on a Wednesday show. Updates on some injured Brewers that are rehabbing that we got to get to. Also, big blowout win for the Brewers yesterday that we've got to talk about. Chad Patrick having himself a moment as well. We'll get into that later on here also. But I want to start with the rehab assignments, the general good news that we have gotten here for the Brewers, because my goodness, they have needed it on the injury front there. So Jackson Chourio and Andrew Vaughn are in Nashville right now. They are joining the team and they will be starting a rehab assignment tonight. In tonight's game, we will see them out there in uniform, getting at bats. Jackson Chourio and Andrew Vaughn, the Brewers have been missing them. Chourio out since opening day, has not made his debut yet this season. Vaughn played on opening day, injured his hand on opening day, and then was placed on the IL the next day, and we have not seen him since. So it's been a long time coming here for both of these guys, dealing with fractures in their hands. Chourio after a hit by pitch, and then Vaughn after having a hamate surgery. So it's been tough. It's been 4 weeks here since these guys have been out there, and now we're going to see them play the rest of this week down in Nashville on the rehab assignment, and the estimated return for both of those players is May 4th. So that's going to be next Monday when they're expected to come back. So they're going to be playing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday here in Nashville, and then they're going to be returning to the ball club on Monday when the Brewers go on the road, and they'll be rejoining the team there. So that is the plan for both of those players. The Brewers desperately need both of them back in their lineup, although based on the game that we saw on Tuesday night, maybe not that desperate, but if you've been watching this team for the past month, you need both of these guys in that lineup. Jackson Chourio, Andrew Vaughn. It just makes that lineup that much deeper and really that much more important to have both of those guys back in there. So that is the update on the two of them. They are going to be rejoining the team very, very soon here. They're both going out at the same time. They caught a flight together from Milwaukee to Nashville, and they're rejoining the Sounds down there. So that is very exciting news on that front. And they're going to be joining on rehab assignment down there in Nashville Quinn Priester, who is continuing his build-up as he is going through. Quinn Priester has had 2 outings so far for the Nashville Sounds. Both have had their issues. The first one was obviously a major problem. Only lasted 2/3 of an inning, 29 pitches, bunch of walks, didn't have any sort of success at all. And then the last time out, 2 1/3 scoreless innings, which is great. Got up to 45 pitches, which is what you like to see. It's like, okay, he's got his pitch count built up there a little bit, but 18 strikes in those 45 pitches. And we talked about it a little bit earlier in the week here, during that, after that game on Sunday. Excuse me. So I asked Pat Murphy about the report on Priester and the command issues and just any sort of concern level there. And according to Murphy, what he told me was that the command issues are kind of normal for this kind of injury with what he had with the thoracic outlet in the wrist. Him really not being able to pitch all that much in spring training at all. Just trying to get the feel back on the baseball for the command, the touch, the feel, being able to have that's kind of the last thing to come back. It takes time for that to come back. So I think obviously the Brewers want to kind of quicken getting Quinn Priester back into action here, and getting him back into the rotation, but because he didn't have much of a spring training, because he's dealing with that thoracic outlet in the wrist that he's trying to rehab through, because he's dealt with that, it does kind of eat away at the feel of the ball coming out of the hand, coming out of the fingertips, and he's trying to get that back. And it does take some time, but it is certainly concerning. You obviously don't love to see the walks that he's given up. 18 strikes and 45 pitches is nowhere near enough for him. But That's apparently normal. So hopefully, the more that he's back out there, the more that he continues to throw, that touch, that feel is going to be able to return for him, and the Brewers can get him back into being usable out there on the mound. Not just having him healthy and being able to throw him out there, but being able to have the command. Okay, being able to not walk a whole bunch of guys in your routing and put the team in a disadvantageous position, because what we've seen when Quinn Priester is on, he very much puts the team in an advantageous position, winning 19, 20 games in a row, whatever it was that he pitched in last year. You know that he can put you in that spot, but if he's not throwing strikes, it's going to be very difficult for him to do that. So that is kind of the main concern. But again, this isn't out of the ordinary. This is to be expected almost with the type of injury that Quinn Priester had. So Pat Murphy's not really too concerned about it. So I'm not really going to be as concerned about it as perhaps I was before, but it is still going to be something to monitor, okay? Because, I mean, Murphy and the Brewers, they're still certainly going to be monitoring that. So, like, overall, like, big picture, the concern isn't really there. But, like, short term, again, in-game action, you can't really be walking that many guys. That does lead to problems. So, but on the timeline for Priester, he is going to throw a side session, basically a bullpen, today in AAA Nashville. So that's not going to be in-game action, but he's going to throw his side, his kind of between start session there. And then he is scheduled to pitch again on Friday for the Nashville Sounds on May 1st. And that is going to go about 4 ups, 4 innings, hopefully, that you can get him through. 60 to 65 pitches is the projected timeline for him, or projected pitch output for him. So, again, continuing that build-up, he had 45 pitches his last time out. Now they're going to be working him up to 60 to 65 pitches. And again, hopefully that command will continue to improve as he gets, further away from the injury, as he gets more reps in. You get the reps in on the side session today, and then as you go along on Friday, hopefully that feeling continues to come back for him. But again, that will be something that we will be monitoring going forward here. And something also to monitor are the Kalshi markets. Baseball season is here and now, and you can trade every single game on Kalshi. So, what I'm just kind of looking at these markets here that Kalshi has, the prediction markets, and the prediction for the NL Central Division. All right, is something that certainly gets a lot of attention. So the Brewers are trading at 18% probability to win the NL Central this season, meaning a $100 trade pays out $525 if they win the division. Now, we've seen this time and time again, where the Brewers have been counted out in the division, in the odds makers, and they still end up winning the division. They've won it 3 years in a row. So, $100 on the Brewers to win the division on Kalshi, netting you $525, that seems like a very good trade for me. So that's something that I'm certainly looking at here. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10 KALSHI Kalshi trade on anything. All right. So, also another thing for the Brewers here, just with the win that they had on Tuesday night, it was a very Brewers-esque kind of win. I mean, they put up a ton of runs there in the 6th inning. Single, just a whole bunch of singles. Throwing a walk, throwing a catcher's interference, and just keeping the line moving. You get basically kind of a stoink double, a ground rule double from David Hamilton as really the only extra base hit of the inning. The Brewers just poured it on those poor Arizona Diamondbacks. They left Andrew Hoffman out there to dry. He went a third of an inning, allowed 8 runs. He just kept letting these guys get on base. And there was no one warming in that Diamondbacks bullpen. I mean, they must have just been absolutely gassed from their last series that they played in that bullpen. They're just letting him hang out there to dry. I think they kind of knew it at a certain point. It's like, okay, look, we're not coming back and winning this game. So you just kind of punt. You just kind of hope that he can get through the inning. He could not. And just trying to use as few pitchers as possible the rest of the way. They ended up going with a position player pitching in the 8th inning, James McCann, and he tried to challenge Brock Holt for the slowest pitch in MLB history. His first pitch to Brandon Lockridge in Ephus came in at 30.3 miles an hour. It was, it was slow pitch softball, maybe even slower than that. Than slow pitch softball, just lobbing it straight up into the air. It was incredible. The last 3 pitches that he threw to David Hamilton didn't even register on Statcast. I mean, they might have been even slower than Brock Holt's 30.1 mile an hour record, but my goodness. That was something else. But the Brewers' bats were impressive. Sal Frelick broke the homerless streak with a home run in the 2nd inning. Finally, like it had been 10 days, it had been 7 games since the Brewers last homered, April 18th against the Marlins, Bryce Terang. But Sal Frelick able to put an end to that. Thankfully, Pat Murphy facetiously telling us after the game that he told Sal to go do it. He commanded that Sal do it to get all of us in the media off his back about the lack of home runs the team has had. But that was the only home run of the night. That was all that they needed, and they just kept piling on runs after that, which was great to see. It's great to see this offense kind of flowing like that again. Garrett Mitchell came up big with the bases loaded. He is 5 for 5 on the season with the bases loaded with 8 RBIs. Really, really impressive stuff. Pair of doubles with the bases loaded there as well. So you love to see that from Mitchell. Joey Ortiz, this may surprise some people, but Joey Ortiz is 7 for 19 on the season with runners in scoring position. That's a .368 batting average. That's pretty darn good with runners in scoring position. I know he gets all the hate for the bases loaded thing, and Garrett Mitchell seems like, the anti-Joey Ortiz with the bases loaded, but with runners in scoring position, he has been good, and he came through with the big 2 RBI single there in the 3rd inning. So really, great stuff all up and down the lineup for the Brewers, getting contributions from everybody. Tyler Black, a 3-hit night, the first of his career. A 3 RBI night for Tyler Black, the first of his career. So that was absolutely huge. You'll love to see that for Tyler Black. Just really, really great stuff from this group that they really needed. And with the rut that the offense has kind of been in, to be able to break out like that, really great stuff to see from this team. And also being able to do it in support of Chad Patrick, who had a weird episode in this game. At the start of the 2nd inning, Chad Patrick, all of a sudden the training staff comes out there, and you could see on the TV, Chad's just kind of saying, I can't see. I can't see. So apparently what had happened was Chad Patrick was throwing up between innings and goes back out there and maybe got a little bit of a head rush or something. And, he said he felt like his eyeballs were on top of his head. And it was just kind of weird feeling for him. So it kind of went like 15, 20 seconds-ish where just like all of a sudden, like had to gather himself, couldn't really see anything. And was able to recover. Ended up walking the first batter he faced that inning, but then kind of settled back in after that. Was able to get a double play ball from Nolan Arenado to end that inning. Was able to kind of lock in from there, but certainly very weird. And I mean, this is also seemingly somewhat normal for Chad Patrick. He told us how basically, on start days for him, he does kind of have like the nerves and the stomach upsets on those days. So he's actually thrown up quite a bit on start days, which is interesting. Even after all the experience that he's gotten in the league over the past year, still having those nerves on those days that he's supposed to pitch. So Apparently, that this isn't the first time this has happened where he throws up on a day that he's starting. Sal Frelick telling us too after the game, he's like, yeah, he's throwing up all the time. He's like, I'm not sure what's wrong with him, but yeah, it's just something with on start days for him. The nerves get to him; they really get to his stomach, and he ends up throwing up. The episode with him losing his vision for like 15 seconds was weird, but he checked out fine afterwards. Kind of maybe pulling a bit from the Adrian Hauser, experience here, although not doing it on the mound, but still, very weird moment. But Brewers were able to give him some run support. The fifth inning, he walked the first three batters that he faced and largely got out of it. Got a line drive out and then gave up a single that allowed 2 runs to bring the game to within 1. But then was able to get out of there without getting into the bullpen and without giving up any further damage. So overall, very, very strong, solid start for Chad Patrick, despite his gastrointestinal distress that he deals with every 5th day. That's got to wear on you, man. I mean, every 5th day having to do that. I mean, that's brutal. But hey, I mean, it's a lot of pressure on these guys. And Pat Murphy told us before the game, this is not a job where you can't handle pressure. If you want a job with no pressure, go get a media job. Trying to poke fun at all of us. So it was good vibes in that clubhouse. It was good vibes in that locker room, which is something that they've needed. And when you get a win like this, that certainly does help out the vibes for sure. We'll be continuing to cover this team. We'll see if they can continue the vibes tonight when they take on the Diamondbacks again and try and secure a series win already here. So hopefully that will continue. We'll have it covered every step of the way. So be sure to follow and subscribe here to Brewers Daily. Get notified every single time a new episode drops. And follow me on Twitter at dgasper24. Got tons of great content from the clubhouse going up over there all the time. And appreciate you watching, appreciate you enjoying, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.